Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Andy Markowski. I'm the State Director for the National Federation of Independent Business, NFIB. For those of you who may not be familiar with NFIB, we are Connecticut's and the nation's leading small business advocacy organization. We are a nonpartisan, nonprofit, small business organization that was founded in 1943, and we dedicate ourselves to small business advocacy. On behalf of the thousands of small business owners and NFIB members here in Connecticut, and specifically here in the 2nd District, as well as the hundreds of thousands of small business owners that NFIB represents nationwide, I am very proud today to announce NFIB's endorsement of Paul Formica for Congress in the 2nd District. It's very fitting that we're here today at Flanders Fish Market and Restaurant to make this announcement, because this building, this restaurant, this place represents that everything Paul stands for, everything that Paul dedicated his life to, building this successful business, putting in the hard work and the dedication, growing the business, as represented by all of the employees and friends and fellow small business owners who are standing behind us here today. Paul truly exemplifies the spirit of entrepreneurship and the American dream, and everybody knows that in order to get this economy growing once again, small businesses are going to be at the backbone of that movement. And that's why NFIB feels it's very important that we send Paul Formica to Congress. Paul knows the issues that concern small business owners firsthand, because he's lived it, he's done it, he spent his entire life in the private sector, and he deals with all of the obstacles that are created by government. Paul's been in the thick of the debate over various aspects of public policy. He's one of our members at NFIB, and he's been one of our most energetic members. He's been one of the most dedicated small business advocates that we have, not only here at the local level in the town of East Lyme, but across the state, coming up to Hartford and helping to influence and provide his input on public policy. I think Paul's record, his experience in business certainly speaks for itself, and I think it stands in sharp contrast to that of his opponent. At the start of every legislative session, NFIB ballots our membership to determine our public policy positions on key issues at both the federal and state level. And NFIB then tracks the votes of every member of Congress and applies a score based on those votes, from 0 to 100% being the best. And unfortunately, the incumbent's record is a very disappointing 26% score on small business issues. That's not what we need here in the 2nd District. What we need is a congressman who understands small business, who's lived it, who's done it, and that is none other than Paul Formica. So that's why I'm proud to endorse Paul on behalf of NFIB. But you don't want to hear it from me. I want you to hear it from some other small business owners themselves. So with that, I want to introduce Mr. Kevin Maloney. Kevin is a small business owner and also a constituent in the 2nd District.
Just realized from Andy's talk that the NFIB was formed the year before I was born. I'd like to say I signed on in the womb, but that's a stretch. I have been an NFIB member for somewhere over 35 years. Presently I chair the Leadership Council of the NFIB here in Connecticut. And actually Paul has been a member of the LC longer than I have. And I have to tell you that we meet quarterly, and on those occasions when we talk about the interaction between the private sector, small business in particular, and the public sector, Paul is always the most informed, and I would add that he's always the most passionate. I think as small business people, we should feel honored that he elected to step up and run for office, and he has our undying support and our thanks for all your past support.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Andy, and the NFIB for this most prestigious endorsement today. 29 years ago, about 50 feet to my right, my late wife and I opened Flanders Fish Market. in the small single-family home of a former sea captain, where we renovated, we painted, papered, worked hard, rebuilt some equipment, and on December 23rd, 1983, we were ready to open. We had a case full of fish, and I looked at the cash register and I realized we didn't have enough money to open the store. There was no money to go in the cash register. So I called Donna and I said, hey, how many tips did you make last night? And she said $41. So I said, I need quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies, $1 bills, and that's how we opened. We worked hard. We raised our family. We got involved in the community, where I was Chamber of Commerce president, zoning 8 years, Board of Finance 8 years, and I've had the great privilege to serve in my 3rd term as the first selectman here in East Lyme. To have this endorsement today and to have the chance to run for the United States Congress is the American dream, and it only proves that this is the greatest country in the world. Small business is the economic engine for our country, traditionally supplying and creating most of the jobs that we have. And the 2nd Congressional District is no different. We need a congressman who understands the need to create an environment and a culture that promotes and stimulates growth, that reduces our tax burden, and a congressman that will work to ensure that our government facilitates, not obstructs, our efforts to move our nation's economy forward, creating jobs. This is a crucial moment in our nation's history. We're enduring out-of-control spending, record debt, and a health care plan that survived the Supreme Court challenge, not on its own merits, but on the fact that it was a tax so burdensome that when implemented in the coming years, it has the potential to knock us back into another recession. Behind me are the great employees of Flanders Fish Market and fellow business owners. These employees are single moms, they're retirees, they're professional trades, men and women, students, and my family. They're very special. And they're the reason that Flanders Fish Market has been so successful over these past 29 years. They work hard and they dedicate themselves to the mission, which is customer service to our community. Small business is a way of life. I had somebody tell me when I first opened that everybody worked 9 to 5. And in those days that was true. Now it's probably more like 8 to 7. So if you wanted to get ahead of the world, you wanted to stay even with the world, you had to work 9 to 5. It's what you did before 9 and after 5 that put you ahead. But Flanders Fish Market is no different than the many hundreds of thousands of small businesses and NFIB members around the nation and those here in the 2nd District. These are the faces of our community who live and work on Main Street and are the very reason that we need new thinking in Washington. Mayors, first selectmen, families, and businesses have been cutting spending, balancing budgets, and making the hard decisions the last few years. It's time that Washington did the same. Our congressional delegation doesn't get it, as you heard Andy say. We have their votes. Not one of the 5 have a record over 29%. They don't realize that supporting families and small business is supporting America and is our ticket to economic recovery. So I thank NFIB today for this wonderful endorsement and recognition of what we need to do to move forward. I thank them for all of the hard work they do day in and day out to represent small business and their efforts to get economies working again, not only here in Connecticut, but around the country, and as we grow into a global economy around the world. So I thank you for this wonderful and prestigious endorsement. I look forward to winning on November 6th and being the next member of Congress to be an NFIB member and to work hard to get our country back to work again. So thank you very much. Thank you all. God bless you.